Hi guys, I'm back at Greg's today and we are going to play Armada. This is my fleet going in. There is a slight change to what I brought, and today I'm facing Admiral Teejay again. Hi Teejay.
Hi there, hi guys.
Okay, and I see a ISD on table. Okay, so what I brought today is I changed the acclimator 2 to acclimator 1. I changed my commander to build Organa. I kept the silver mount battery, the EPT, but this time I brought honest experts so that I can reroll the black. I changed my acclimator to a ship, a squadron commanding ship. So there is a boosted count and expert hangar bay and expert shield tag for the defense. For my C-70s, I brought the same thing, as I added expert shield tag to both of them. Okay. Then for the Squadron Makeup, this is something that I am wanting to test. Flokun, Luminara, Anakin, 2 Y-Wings and 4 V-19s. So later on I'll explain why I brought this combination of fighters. So this is Teejay's list. So we have an ISD, that is a Simon refit.
Minister Tour, Advanced Projectors, Final Armament, Local Fire Control.
Okay, then we have a VSD.
VSD, Disposable Caps, Quad Battery Turrets, Captain Leader.
Then we have Quasar.
Flight Controls and Expanded Hangar Bay.
Then for the squadrons we have
Danger, Howl Runner, Mauler, Valen Rudor, Interceptor and Fighter.
Okay. And the objective that I chose, because I'm first player, is minefields. Let's see how it goes. So this will be the battlefield, alright? Because of minefields, Teejay is the one who placed all the obstacles and they can be placed within my deployment zone. So the minefield is this one, this, and this. The last one at the end is actually just for marking out deployment. So many of the obstacles are on this side, and the minefield is actually creating a minefield over here. So let's see how it goes. So let's go to the deployment. As the first player, I place the C-70 down right in the middle at speed 2. Then Teejay placed the Quasar in the middle. I followed this by putting all my squadrons down, forcing him to put down all his squadrons and the VSD. Then after that, I placed one C-70 at this side, facing the corner. Then Teejay had to deliberate between placing the ISD here or at the side. So he finally decided to put the ISD over here, and as a result, I'm putting my acclimator far away from it. Yay! So we will see how this battle goes. Turn 1, the trap has been sprung. So I started with my acclimator and my C-70 going at full speed down the side. Then he activated the Quasar and the VSD coming down the middle. I moved my C-70 in the middle in a 90 degrees turn, and then I ending tap myself down. I took the mine to the side and took one face out damage card, a crit, and the ISD activated to chase me. And then I'll see what goes to his round 2. The squadron balls all are in the middle. In the round 2, so my C-70 continues its dash down the side. The acclimator squadron commanded but did nothing and then moved here. He has counter 2 on his squadrons over there, so because of Dengar and Howl Runner. My C-70 over here jumped over this side, and his guys try to give chase over here. So now I have a very scattered fighter ball here, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so here my acclimator activated first. Did a squadron command. Only the Y-Wings were in range, so they went in to support the squadron fight. But as a result, the return squadron command from the Quasar killed Anakin and 1 Y-Wing. Then my C-70s all tried to skirt around the corner, and the Imperials decided to form one straight line here. The squadrons are now all engaged hold because during the squadron phase, I moved everybody in. End of round 4, so now the VSD acclimator are now head to head. The ISD is actually right behind the VSD, but the Quasar is banging each other. My C-70s are still skirting around. We managed to shoot, but this one is still out at the moment. Squadrons, I lost quite heavy losses because my V-Torrents are down. Only left with 1 that is damaged. And you'll see. So now the acclimator and the VSD are now engaged in close combat range. The ISD is not supporting the VSD. I lost a squadron fight here, and my two C-70s are now trying to do some damage.
But you're hard to have active squadron control
When I'm trying to avoid you lah.
because you have a
Because the ISD is coming. So end of round 6, I killed the VSD, but I lost the entire fighter screen.
So
And
you
then
also
everything else,
felt-
nothing happened. So in the end, I lost 134 to 119. So I lost heavily in the squadron fight because I lost my entire squadron contingent. The Imperial squadrons were actually helped by the Quasar, which was doing squadron commands every turn. With flight controllers, this means that the Imperial squadrons were shooting at full capacity because they also have Hull Runner, and they were all shooting in the ship phase. So there was no reply to the Imperial shooting. They were just clearing my squadrons in the ship phase, and they cleared like 1 to 2 squadrons per turn. Whereas I could only shoot back in the squadron phase, and my firepower has already been diminished. The ISD actually did also flag together with the Quasar. So this also helped to deal damage to my squadrons. So I couldn't clear his squadron ball. I could only clear 2 squadrons, Hull Runner and 1 TIE Fighter. So it was actually pretty nasty. I flew my acclimator away from the battle for most of the time, even though I intended it to be doing squadron commands. But as a result of the ISD, I could only fly away because I did not want to engage the ISD at all. So this was at the end of round 6. So the ISD actually only managed the VSD 1 full on shot at my I was running away from the ISD, which was, and I turned in round 4, okay, and slowed down to face the VSD head on. On this map, minefields was actually a double-edged sword because if you do not place the mines properly, they can actually deal damage back to yourself, which was what happened in this case. In order to face my acclimator, the VSD had actually eaten 2 of its own mines and got dealt 4 damage cards. Even with engineering, he could not throw away the damage cards fast enough to save itself. So the VSD actually died under 2 rounds of shooting from the acclimator, 1 at long range, 1 at close range. You can see that my C-70s were already circling all around the battlefield. They did not contribute much in the end because I couldn't kill the Quasar with just 1 C-70. But the other one was in a position where it could kill the VSD had my acclimator failed to do the job. I did make one mistake in this battle. When I set my fleet down, I actually set Plo Koon to 1 hull instead of 4. So Plo Koon actually died in round 5 to 1 single round of shooting. Because yeah, he got a lock, he couldn't scatter, and he just died with 1 hull. Yeah, so that was my mistake. And even if the Plo Koon had remained on table, I would only maybe only manage to kill Molemeter because Molemeter had used up all his scatters. So we'll see next time if I play it properly whether I could survive a little bit more with one of my squadrons. But 80-something points of squadrons invested heavily in the anti-squadron weaponry is actually enough to clear 134 points. Granted, because my acclimator was not around to do the squadron command, my squadrons were fed in piecemeal. I even had to throw in the Y-Wings and Anakin right at the start because they were the only two squadrons that my acclimator could command because they were the ones that were nearer after I had done my speed 3 move. So that was my mistake. My squadrons was really severely mismanaged this turn, and I paid for it. So going back to the squadrons, this was the setup that I favor. This is 71 points in squadrons: Luminara, Plo Koon, and the V19. I find that this is actually a very good cap because the two V19s provide escorts to the two Jedi fighters, whereas the two Jedi fighters actually help the V19s stay in combat quite a bit. Luminara gives them obstructed, which means that anybody shooting at them throws 1 die less. So had Luminara not been around, I would have lost the V19s faster because Interceptor was supposed to shoot at 6 blue dice because of how runner and the flight controllers. The TIE fighters was actually throwing 5 blue dice, as well as a lot of the other squadrons. But because of Luminara, all of them minus 1 blue die. That means they were actually cancelling How Runner's ability. Plo Koon gave them counter 1, which was actually helpful because this gives another threat to the other squadrons. They have to shoot the V19 because he has escort. But when they shoot at the V19s, they roll 1 less die. And after they shoot, they get countered. So this is actually a very interesting setup, I feel. And this is going to be my Galactic Republic cap going forwards. So we'll see how it goes in future battles. Goodbye.